Hello, everybody, and welcome. We're excited that you're joining us today for IBM SkillsBuild Launch Day. If you haven't done so yet, please go ahead and introduce yourself in the chat box and put any questions in the Q&A. So my name is Sharon Bonney. I'm the CEO for COABE, and I am delighted to welcome you to this session. COABE is 100,000 members strong and growing. We're comprised of adult learners, educators, administrators, paraprofessionals, researchers, associations, funders, policymakers, and you. We lead, we equip, and we empower. And I am just delighted to welcome today to the stage our friends and partners at IBM SkillsBuild. I'm going to have them turn on their cameras and unmute themselves as we introduce them. So I would like to introduce Erin Vabornik, who is our Director of Initiatives. Hi, Erin. Stephenie Rittberger, a Program Coordinator from South Dakota, who's joining us. Thank you, Stephenie. Initially, Kate Crandall was also going to join us, but Stephenie's going to fill in for her as well. Deloria Pride-Chubbs from IBM SkillsBuild. Thank you, Deloria. Kiki Huckaby from IBM SkillsBuild. Thank you, Kiki. And I believe Joanna will be joining us when she has a minute. Joanna DeLoz from IBM SkillsBuild as well. So I'd like to talk quickly about the benefits for you due to the COABE IBM partnership. You have access to certificate level content. You have personalized learning plans and paths. You have priority invitations to guided learning experiences in a cohort model, monthly IBM SkillsBuild webinars for learners, volunteer support from IBMers themselves, mentorship sessions, and then, of course, support from COABE, which we're going to talk about a little bit later. So there's a lot of benefits for you to do this specifically through COABE. So with that, I'm going to turn this over to Stephenie to get us started. Stephenie?
Well, good morning if you are out on the West Coast, and good afternoon to everyone else. It's really quite an honor to be here today, and it's really great to be able to consider just how transformative IBM SkillsBuild has been for our adult education learners. Not just because they gained digital literacy, but they completely changed the trajectory of their lives. So like many adult education programs during COVID-19 and right directly after, we had incredible challenges. We had so many learners that were parents and caregivers and full-time workers, and they were really struggling with limited broadband access, lack of devices, and then just they didn't have any quiet space or time to focus on their studies. And our teachers were working tirelessly to build out the academic components of their GED prep, so the reading, math, social studies, and science. But the digital literacy portion was really growing in a gap, and we could see that we just didn't have the capacity to build out any kind of structured digital literacy curriculum on top of everything else. And right about that time, IBM SkillsBuild really opened up a different world for us. That's where IBM SkillsBuild plugged the gap, and it really opened up a new world of possibilities for some of our students. So they had an integrated platform, and we did it in our computer labs. We opened up study areas, and we gave students a lot of flexibility and autonomy to be in, when they could. And then we had the help of Kate Crandall, who is one of our most talented instructors, both in math, and then she did foundational computer skills. And she was really great about selecting the right modules to meet the students' real world needs. And she did a great job of also being able to answer minor questions. It really wasn't big questions, it was minor questions. And then the badges and certificates the students earned were really not just for show. They gave them an edge in the job market and in applications to post-secondary institutions. So it really wasn't abstract learning. It was preparation for the real life that they have on tap right in that minute. So I want to share two stories that speak volumes about our time when we were first starting. And the first one is that we had a grandmother in our program who relocated to our area, and she was caring for two grandchildren, when their mother became incarcerated, and she lacked digital skills to even get back the kinds of jobs that she had had in North Dakota. And the weight of the trauma and in the home and the behavioral health needs of those kids and the caregiving demands were really taking a toll. So she landed at a transitional housing program called One Heart. And while she was there, she earned a GED, and then she worked on IBM SkillsBuild in tandem. And the platform gave her all these really cool tools and confidence that she needed to become job ready. And when she was hired by the Children's Home Society of the Black Hills. And because of her skills, she was able to waive her probationary period, which meant that she was able to get to all of the great things that they could offer in terms of benefits more quickly. And this was done because she could navigate databases, she could coordinate services and solve problems really creatively, and even plan events. And a lot of that were skills, digital skills that she was able to gain through IBM SkillsBuild. So even today, I think she would tell you that she's part of a mission-driven organization that's not just surviving, but it's thriving because she was able to get skills. The second story is really about a young man whose education was completely derailed by extreme anxiety, and he had some undiagnosed learning needs, but he had a real passion for all things digital, and he dreamed of attending the School of Mines and Technology. And that school is very well respected. The average starting salary is over $70,000. So South Dakota School of Mines and Technology just rarely accepts GED graduates, but he was able to pass all these really rigorous placement exams. He didn't lack academic skills, but he did not have a lot of confidence. And thanks in large part to the confidence and skills he gained in IBM SkillsBuild, he flourishes on campus. And he even built a really cool, complete model of the campus and much of Rapid City in Minecraft. And this project's really gained a lot of attention and exposure. And IBM made him feel capable. And what he told me was it made him feel capable on day one. He wanted to compete on day one, keep up at day 15, and lead by the third week. And so I feel like this is the opportunities, and it's what opportunity looks like for our students. IBM SkillsBuild really gave my learners more than just badges. It gave them some belief in themselves, and it gave them tools that employers and colleges respect. It gave us as educators a platform that we could trust, and it supported our digital readiness without reinventing the wheel, and it was imperative to us at that point in time. So I hope today inspires you to bring this tool into your classrooms and communities, because when we can build some digital skills, we don't just prepare people for jobs, we transform their lives.
Thank you so much, Stephenie. I love that. And she actually shared one of the highlights from the newspaper, right, where he was highlighted in there for the great work he was doing as well. We'll include that too when we send out the follow-up email to this. But you can hear right from her, from Stephenie, how IBM SkillsBuild, it helps them with their digital skills, and it really helps them in life. It really helps to transform their future. So thank you, Stephenie, for sharing. And now I'm going to stop sharing and turn this over to Deloria.
Thank you, Sharon. I'm trying to come off of video and it seems to be stuck here. Let me see if I can share my screen. Okay. Are you able to see me now?
See you now. Thank you, Deloria.
Perfect. And let me just share my screen here quickly with you. And that story was, oh my God. So the two stories of impact are just so heartwarming. It just really gave me goosebumps just listening to it. So thank you so much for sharing that. Alrighty. So thank you all so much for being here. We are so excited for this partnership, and we're looking forward to creating more stories of impact and just making a difference, you know, for those around us in the communities that we serve. So at IBM, we have a huge goal. Currently, our goal is to skill 30 million people globally by 2030. I would love to just share that, we're well on our way, and we're about 53% of target at this point. So we've skilled about 16 million people globally. A large part is through our IBM SkillsBuild program, but part of that also is from our other social impact initiatives. So we're excited. We're excited for the partnership and super happy to have you all join us. So why do we have this huge goal at IBM, right? We're a big tech company, but we also know that the job landscape is changing. It's largely changing because of the advancement in technology. So we know that AI is playing a huge part in what's going on. You can't turn your computer on or turn your TV on without hearing about artificial intelligence. So we know that it's here to stay. There's rapid movement going on, and whether we like it or not, it is here. So it is on us to make sure that we are providing the technology education to all those that want part in it. So that's a large part of why we are doing what we're doing, but also we've done a number of research, and we've looked at a lot of different, articles. So for example, the World Economic Forum shared that by 2027, 60% of workers either need to be reskilled or upskilled. And this is largely because companies are adapting or adopting big technology. They're doing things with big data, cloud computing, artificial intelligence. So that is shifting, and that is why we have to also shift with it. One of the things from the study that I did appreciate is where they interviewed or surveyed several executives across many different companies, and almost 90% felt like AI is not necessarily replacing your job. It's actually going to augment what you do. And I have a perfect story to share. Just this past weekend, I went to a fast food restaurant. I went to the drive-through, and when I got there, there was this friendly little AI order taking system that actually, took my order, and it was accurate, friendly. When I drove around to the window, the worker was actually there to greet me. She confirmed my order. She didn't seem too stressed because she wasn't having to multitask and take orders and try to also fulfill orders. But it was a very pleasant experience. And I thought to myself, that is a perfect example of how AI is augmenting what we're doing, right? It's giving us a little free time to focus on providing better service or being more creative and doing things along those lines. So I just wanted to share that experience. I'm sure you have similar stories that you can share because, again, it is all around us and it is rapidly changing. Some of the skills that I think, when I think about AI, like for example, you might not be techie or even want to get too involved, but I think when you have just the basic AI literacy, that sets you apart just right there. But some of the skills that we know that will be needed are around creative thinking, analytical thinking, and really it's just about being a continuous learner. So those are some of the things that we are seeing in like all of the research that we're doing here at IBM. To advance to the next chart, and for some reason it does not want to act right today. I don't know why, but that's okay. We'll get through that. And if someone can just share and just acknowledge that you can see my screen, that would be very helpful.
Yes, Deloria, it looks good.
Okay, perfect. All right, so on this chart, I really just wanted to also just point out kind of what we're seeing too around some of the data. And I alluded to this a bit earlier, but we know that for those that are in the information and communication technology sector, 100% of those will have to be AI illiterate. And it's really, it's up to us whether we want to do it or whether we don't. It really is a high demand job at this point, and then we have to focus on those areas. So let me just continue a little bit more on cybersecurity. Again, that's another big area that's booming, and there is a lot of jobs just in the United States that are unfulfilled in cybersecurity. So we're also seeing that research as well. But I will just point out, as I said earlier, whether you are a techie, you want to get into tech, that's okay. You don't have to. IBM SkillsBuild, we have a lot to offer within our tool, and you're going to learn more about what we have to offer when Kiki actually takes you through her portion. But I just kind of wanted you to just look at some of the data and just kind of process where things are and where things are moving. So as Sharon mentioned earlier, through our partnership, which we are excited to have, we do offer some enhancements or some additional offerings that you're able to get through our partnerships. The great one is we have guided learning experiences for those that don't want to learn like on your own. We do have opportunities for you to actually participate in a more cohort fashion, but if self-paced is best for you, of course, we have that available for you as well. One of the things that I do like is the connection to IBMers. So perhaps you are looking to skill up in a particular area, but you're not quite sure and you want to connect with someone that's possibly working in that area. We actually provide that support through our partnership. So we're happy to provide that to all of the COABE learners and educators, et cetera. We do offer access to our Tier 3 content, which is generally content that requires a payment or a fee if you're actually taking it via another source. So happy to provide that service as well. And then just our specialized learning pathways. So as mentioned, we have a lot of courses on SkillsBuild, over 1,000 courses, but the great thing about it is because we have curated learning pathways with COABE, it's very easy for you to follow along. You'll easily see COABE's logo, and that will take you directly to our learning pathways that we've co-created with the COABE team. So just happy to support you here, and we look forward to hearing more stories of impact and actually working together to just skill up, reskill, because we all need to do that. So Kiki, I'm going to turn it over to you to finish talking about some of our offerings and benefits around SkillsBuild.
Beautiful. So Deloria, if you actually stop sharing, let me try sharing my screen and see if it plays a little nicer with me. We'll do a little test here. All right, give me 1 second. Okay, perfect. So hold on 1 second. All right. Beautiful. So Deloria, it's gonna make me quit and come back. So Deloria, if you wouldn't mind just talking quickly about the different types of offerings that we have, our micro learnings all the way up to our certificate courses, and I'll jump right back on and share my screen and walk them through SkillsBuild.
Certainly, let me just share again. We normally use a different platform, so don't want to play nice with us today, but that's okay.
We see your screen, Deloria.
Okay, perfect.
Great.
All righty, so SkillsBuild. So when you actually get to the page, so we have a unique URL for all of the SkillsBuild for COABE's learners. We have the link here at the bottom, but then Joanne is also going to paste it into the chat for your easy convenience. But literally when you get to the SkillsBuild screen, if you don't have an account, just go ahead and click sign up. And then that way you'll be able to get signed up through the COABE URL. So make sure you're not just using a general SkillsBuild URL, that you are using COABE's unique URL. The great thing we've already discussed, and Sharon already highlighted, and Stephenie as well, but SkillsBuild is available for those that are 13 and over. We're focused on adult learners and educators from this standpoint, but it runs the gamut of artificial intelligence, all the way to just general workplace skills that are available. So happy to provide this support. One of the great things I do like is that, some people don't know exactly what they want to do. They don't know if they even have a tech interest or how they could fit in. The great thing is we have micro learning. So if you have limited time, if you have, just want to explore, we have a plethora of micro learnings that are available. Kiki's actually going to take you through one, and it's about crafting your professional image. But we have a number of them that you can do where you can dibble and dabble a little bit with AI tools. And then you can just explore on your own.
Awesome. Thank you, Deloria. And I apologize for having to hop off. Technology is not our friend today. So thank you all for being
Sure.
patient. So like Deloria said on the screen, actually in the chat, our wonderful colleague Joanne has put in a unique URL, and that is COABE's URL. So that means that being part of COABE, you actually get exclusive access to some of our content that you wouldn't get access to if you just went on and created a free account on your own. And so we highly encourage you to use that URL in the chat. Click on that link, and then it will bring you to a screen that looks like this. And at the very bottom here, you're going to click sign up because probably you have not created an account yet. If you have created an account, you can go ahead and log in. But if you have not, go ahead and click that sign up button and walk through those couple of steps. If you're having any issues, type them into the chat. Joanne's kind of our wonderful IT support today, supporting some of those weird requests that are happening. So I appreciate that, Joanne. But there is really something for everyone on SkillsBuild. And so we have over 1,000 courses, really from foundational level all the way up to pretty in-depth pathways where you can actually get a digital credential or a certificate from those pathways. And so I'm going to talk about those in just a second. But just like Deloria said, some of our main domains are around AI, cybersecurity, data analytics, programming. We have a ton around professional skills. So how to make yourself stand out in a job interview, how to build up your resume, right? Those are important no matter how, technical you would say you are. And so highly encourage you to check those out as well. And then I'll also talk about different ways to engage with SkillsBuild shortly. But for now, I'm actually going to share my screen and take you through the actual dashboard here. So give me 1 second as I do that. I encourage you to follow along on your own device with me if you have registered an account. And that way you can get your first micro learning done. So here we go. All right. So when you log into SkillsBuild, your dashboard is going to look like this. It may look a little bit slightly different from mine, but you kind of get the idea. So you'll see you can search for anything that interests you. So if you want to look up artificial intelligence or resume building, right? Those are great things to put into that search bar, and it will bring up relevant courses. You'll also notice down here, kind of this first carousel, anything that you have started in SkillsBuild, you can resume your learning from these various tiles. And so what's wonderful here is if you start a pathway that's say 5 hours long, you're not going to necessarily do it in one sitting. And so you can resume your progress by just clicking directly in that tile, and it will take you right back to where you left off. What's also wonderful is this second carousel here. This is what we call our spotlights. So this is where you will actually see COABE specific learning plans that are relevant to you. And those will be kind of clear because they'll have a COABE logo associated with them, but you'll also see any global announcements. And so we actually, any new courses that have been released, any updated courses, you will find them in this second carousel and can check them out. So here's a great example. The project management fundamental course is one that we've had for a while, but we just refreshed it. And so it has brand new content. This is a great pathway because you can actually get a digital credential. And so you can easily navigate to that right from this second tile here. So always pay attention to that piece. And then we also have a virtual assistant. So if you're having trouble accessing specific things or running into any barriers, definitely check out that virtual assistant. It's great at coming up with a solution for you. And then I also encourage individuals to go up here to the top bar under recommendations and click on Explore Learning. This is where you'll actually find some pathway suggestions. So you'll see technical skills here on the left. Say you're interested in information technology. So if you click on that, it will give you some great statistics and data to back up why this field is growing and why we see it kind of evolving over the next couple of years. And then it will tell you kind of where to start. So if you're starting at the beginning, you're going to start with our awareness courses that can all be found here. Those are very foundational. Usually they're not tied directly to the content, but they're more holistic, kind of preparing you for working in general or working in the digital world in general, right? Some things like agile learning about project management, that's where you'll find those courses. Then you'll see our comprehension courses. So these are a little bit more in depth. They usually have a digital credential tied to them. So this is IT fundamentals pathway that it's suggesting here. And then our third level is actually the application. So this is where you actually get to dive deep. If you know maybe you want to move into the IT field, I highly suggest checking this out. This is where you get experiential learning, hands-on learning, and get to dive deep into a specific topic. And again, being part of COABE means you get access to this content, which if you signed up just on your own, you wouldn't necessarily get access to it. And then we have a certificate pathway as well. So always encourage you to check that out. For today, though, we're going to jump in. All right. So hopefully you're logged in, following along with me. You can see some of the micro learnings that we have here. We have some super fun ones around how technology is used in live concerts, how it's used in the NFL, how it's used in sports coverage or fantasy football. So highly encourage you to check those out. Today, we're actually going to dive into crafting your professional image online. And so how you can navigate is when you're logged in to SkillsBuild, you can actually type it into the search bar. So crafting your professional image online, you're going to click on this activity and click on Go to Activity. Now this micro learning is a bit longer. It's about 20 minutes. So we're going to skip some portions for today and just take you through some of the main content. But I do encourage you to go back and read through all the content as you see fit. So what's the first thing you do when you hear about someone you don't know, right? You probably look them up online. All right. So when you look someone up online, lots of different things can come up, professional things, personal things. We're going to talk about how to craft your personal image online effectively. So understanding your digital footprint. So your digital footprint is the collection of traces you leave behind as you interact online. It's shaped by the content you share, the interactions you have, and the platforms you use. Understanding the components of your digital footprint can help you manage your online presence and make sure it reflects the image you want to project. And why this is so important now is because usually, right, when you're either applying for a promotion or for a new job, the employer is going to look you up online, right? So what are they going to find? So a couple of things to consider. So you have some personal websites and portfolios. So if you have these, such as a blog, it contributes to your digital footprint. This is where you can showcase your work, share your professional insights, and highlight your skills or expertise. It really serves as a professional hub that can leave a lasting impression on potential employers or clients. Also, any interactions you have, so comments, reviews, likes, that is going to show up as well. So whether it's commenting on industry blogs, engaging in professional forums, interacting on social media groups, all of those things is usually public, right? And can be seen. So just be aware of those things. And then social media accounts as well. So things like LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, those are all part of your digital footprint as well. So I want you to take a moment on your own device, and search for your name on Google. Probably many of you have done this before, but maybe it's been a while. So search for your name and see what comes up. Think about what you find. Are there pictures, posts, or websites related to you? Is it what you want people to see? Is there anything that you might want to change or clean up? Give you a second to do this. All right. And I just want to know in the chat, if you can participate along just for a second, have you looked yourself up before? Have you done this before? If so, put a Y or yes into the chat. And if not, put an N or no into the chat. Lots of yeses. Awesome. Good. Perfect. Frequently. I love it. Staying on top of things. Awesome. All right, so engaging with professional networks. So building a strong professional network is essential for career growth and development. It involves cultivating meaningful relationships and individuals who can offer valuable advice, support, and potential career opportunities. So many of you probably use LinkedIn, right? LinkedIn is kind of the industry-specific social platform where it's really great to virtually network with individuals, right? And so LinkedIn is widely used for that. It allows you to showcase your experience, connect with colleagues or potential employers, and explore job opportunities. Now, then you have somewhat of the industry-specific online communities, and then you have professional associations and groups. So think about all the ways that you are engaged in these various forums. Now, it gives you some tips for networking online. For today's purpose, I'm just going to go through these quickly. So always connecting with peers, mentors, and industry professionals. I get into a habit every time I join a meeting and there's someone on that meeting who I don't know, I connect with them first on LinkedIn. Because I may need to go back, right, at some point and find them. And so it's a great way to connect, stay up to date on what they're doing. And I will say for many of my professional connections, that's how I really stay up to date and make connections and further relationships, right? Is because people are interacting on LinkedIn and I can easily find them. Also, engage actively by commenting and sharing content. LinkedIn, again, is a tab that's always open on my computer. It's usually one of the first things I do in the morning. I check my email and I check my LinkedIn, right? And it's something that as I move throughout the day, I'm constantly navigating and liking content and things like that so I can stay active there. And then really making sure that you're staying professional, right? Especially on a professional platform like LinkedIn. If you have personal social media, you can do things like keep, those things private, make your profile private, those types of things to really make sure you separate, if you need to separate that line between professional and personal lives. So just a couple of social media best practices is to manage your privacy settings. Pick a professional profile picture because no matter what, your profile can still be seen, right? So making sure that that profile picture is professional and then creating a cohesive brand across platforms. So these platforms represent you, right? And so what do you want people to know about you if they were to get online and see your various platforms? So positive content creation. This is really important. And this is where we're really talking about those professional networks such as LinkedIn or other platforms that you're associated with. It's a place to share your achievements, right? I know that sometimes this can be hard. We don't like to brag about ourselves, but it really is important to kind of share who you are, right? That builds up your professional resume, essentially. Any community service that you contribute to, and then hobbies and interests, right? That makes you more personable, makes people be able to connect with you in a different way, and really humanizes the experience. And then obviously thinking about how can you use tools, how can you use large language models to enhance your social or your professional image online. So creating a professional bio, writing resumes and cover letters, or even social media posts. This is a great way to use generative AI to support that, right? And the more you use generative AI, the more it gets to know you, your voice, how you talk, how you interact. And really it starts to encompass you, right? And makes it uniquely you. So I highly encourage you to do that. Now, what's wonderful about this microlearning is that there's kind of this interactive activity to tell you what are some best practices for LinkedIn. So thinking about your profile picture, making sure it's high quality, where you can put other accomplishments, where you can actually put your education and licenses, your about me section, so what you want to put there and what you should put there, your experience, your skills and endorsements, and then other accomplishments. So this is really a great activity. If you want to do an audit of your LinkedIn profile after this call, I highly encourage that. It's a great way to showcase yourself. And then I also encourage you to go to a mentor, go to a colleague, go to someone that you trust and have them look at your profile and give you feedback on it as well. All right. So highly encourage you to check that out. Now, building connections on LinkedIn. So best practice is to personalize connection requests, right? It's very easy on LinkedIn to add anyone and everyone, but how can you actually personalize that request? So that could be simple as, hey, Kiki, I was on the COABE webinar today. I would love to connect with you, right? Super easy. Then I know who you are. We easily connect and we're connected online. Engage with content, join and participate in groups, attend LinkedIn events. This is a great one. Checking out what's in your area. Where can you network? Sharing your expertise. So thinking about best practices of you want to promote things that you're doing. You also just want to be kind of a thought leader. So how are you showcasing how you're developing yourself professionally? And then finally following up and staying in touch. So that was a lot, right? That was a lot in a micro learning, and we didn't even cover everything. But I'm going to give you a little pop quiz now. Okay, so you're going to type your answer into the chat. Which of the following is not a recommended strategy for building a professional online image? So you can either type into the chat A, B, C, or D. And remember, it's not a recommended strategy. Good, I'm seeing lots of C's here. You are correct. You don't want to post controversial content to spark conversation and engagement, right? It's not a best practice. What is one key benefit of having a strong digital footprint? A, B, C, or D? All right, you all have better eyesight. I know it's a little small. I actually minimized my screen because otherwise it was overpowering, I have to say. So the answer here is B. So it can shape how future employers and mentors view you. Awesome job. How can AI tools like ChatGPT help you manage your digital footprint? A, B, C, or D? All right, I'm seeing lots of B's. Beautiful. So AI tools can help you craft professional bios, social media posts, and cover letters that align with your personal brand. Awesome job. So thank you all for participating in that. Something I want to showcase now is if you keep scrolling, it suggests new content for you. So that's what's wonderful is SkillsBuild. It really builds on content. It doesn't mean that you have to start kind of at foundational and move yourself up. You can start anywhere, but it always suggests new content. And so for this one, it suggests the digital mindset pathway. We'll pop that into the chat so that you can explore that. But this is a great digital credential. It's brand new. We released it a couple months ago and it's only 4 hours long. So this is actually an opportunity to get your first digital credential, which I'll talk about in just a second here. But thank you so much for participating in your first microlearning activity. If you have not registered using that unique URL, Joanne will pop that into the chat again so you can make sure you get registered while we were on here today together. Okay, so like I said, we just walked through a microlearning just to give you an idea of what is offered on SkillsBuild, but we have much more in-depth pathways if that makes sense for you. So benefits of SkillsBuild. Again, there's over 1,000 courses, so a lot for you to check out. There's something for everyone, no matter your background or experience. Really, the purpose of SkillsBuild is not to move everyone into the tech sector, but to tech enable individuals no matter what sector you're working in. We also have verified digital credentials I'll talk about in a second, and some learning paths that we've created specifically for COABE members, as well as different ways to engage. And so I'm going to walk through that now. So if you are not familiar with digital credentials, I'm going to talk about them quickly here. So if you walk through a pathway on SkillsBuild, you have the opportunity as you complete all the modules to get a digital credential. And digital credentials are fantastic because one, they are verified. So they are actually accredited by our partner Credly, which is globally known. And what's wonderful about this is it means that you have earned that credential. You have a skill set in maybe artificial intelligence fundamentals, or maybe it's in IT support, right? And so what you can actually use that digital credential for is you can add it to your resume, your LinkedIn profile, and then when you're maybe getting the next step in your career or going into a new career, you have proof that you have skill set in that area, right? I know anyone can put anything on their resume, especially nowadays, right? And so how do you actually prove that you have those skill sets? Well, you can do that through digital credentials. And so I highly encourage you to look at those various options that are available on SkillsBuild. What's also wonderful is it becomes your digital wallet. So SkillsBuild will actually walk you through how to create a Credly account, and then your digital credentials live online. You can always access them. I was a teacher in my previous career, and when I would go to professional development, I would get a paper certificate, right? And then when my district needed proof that I was there, I was always trying to find, where did I put that, right? Hopefully I still have it. So this is great because it becomes your digital wallet. You can always reference it at any point and share it with whoever needs proof that you walked through that pathway. So great way to build yourself up professionally. Again, everything I'm talking about is completely free. So dive in, right? Find some things that interest you, maybe find some pathways you know nothing about, right? And dive in further and learn more about them. Now I want to we've talked about what SkillsBuild is, the purpose of it. We've heard some stories, which was wonderful at the beginning of the impact. Now I want to talk about how you actually engage, okay? So now that you've created an account online and you can access SkillsBuild, there's different ways you can engage. So the first way is through independent learning. You can log on, search courses, search topics that interest you, and take anything that you want. That's the first way, okay? That is ultra flexible. Obviously, it's available at any time, and you can do whatever you want, right? Everything is open to you. The second way is through our curated learning plans. And so we have curated one learning plan for COABE, but we're in the process of curating some more. So as those are released, we will share them with you. But this is a kind of a great way to dive in with some suggestions, right? Sometimes you log in and you're like, I don't even know where to start. There's too much, right? Where do I start? And so this is a great suggestion. And so this COABE career exploration pathway looks like this. When you click on this link, it takes you here. So you can actually see the COABE logo here. You can see the description of the plan. And then it takes you through some courses. So the first one is Exploring Emerging Tech. I love this course. It's only 7 hours long, but it takes you through various things like the Internet of Things, artificial intelligence, blockchain. So it gives you kind of a high-level overview of various emerging tech out there today. And then you can actually dive into careers in technology. So maybe you think you want to go into data analytics, right? Or UX design, but you're not really sure. What does that look like? What does the job market look like? What skills do you need? And so this is a great way to explore. You don't have to take all these modules. Maybe you only take one, the one that interests you the most. And so you click directly in there, you learn a little bit about what that field looks like. And then if you are like, yes, I am so interested in UX design and I want to dive deeper and start building up my toolkit, then you go on to digital credentials. And so you will find user experience design fundamentals. This is 12 hours, and this is where you get a digital credential for completing this pathway. And this is a great opportunity, again, to build up your toolkit moving forward. So that's those curated learning plans. And then finally, we have guided learning experiences, which you heard Deloria talk about. These are great opportunities if you're someone who needs structure and support, okay? So the first two up here, you can take it at your own time. There's not a lot of structure. It's asynchronous learning at its finest, right? Now, guided learning experiences are a hybrid model. So you sign up for a guided learning experience in the enrollment period, and you say, yes, I either want to do this 10-week learning experience or this 4-week learning experience. And then you actually get put into a cohort. And so in that cohort, you will start off with an orientation where you'll learn about what to expect for the 4 weeks or 10 weeks. So they'll walk you through, what modules you should complete each week, how much time you should be spending on SkillsBuild. We usually recommend about 2 to 6 hours of learning per week. And then you start engaging in the cohort. So you take the content online on your own, and then you attend live sessions. So these technical sessions dive deep into content. They give you wonderful opportunity to ask questions and connect with other individuals who are going through the same course as you. It's a great opportunity to get all your questions answered. And then you actually, at the end, have the opportunity to complete a capstone. So that's actually a project where you can showcase the skills that you've learned from that 4-week or 10-week period. Now, a couple of things to note if you're interested in this, which I highly encourage you to sign up for, again, completely free. If you are not able to attend live sessions, no big deal. They are always recorded and they will always be sent to you after the fact. So you're never going to miss out on anything. So I encourage you to still sign up, even if you can't attend those live sessions. What's also great is there's flexibility, right? Nothing's going to happen if you don't complete your cybersecurity certificate in 10 weeks by July 31st, okay? No one's going to come knocking on your door saying, why didn't you complete it? There's definitely flexibility. So if you know, for instance, you're going on vacation for one of those weeks and you're like, ooh, I don't know if I can do it in 9 weeks. No big deal. You can still continue after the GLE has ended, the guided learning experience, okay? So flexibility there. Now, I want you to think about what type of learner you are and maybe where you're starting, okay? So the 10 weeks are much more in depth than the 4 weeks. The 10 weeks are if you actually want to go into that field, okay? So if you're like, yes, I know I want to go into cybersecurity, I'm signing up for the 10 weeks, okay? If you are someone who you're like, I'm not sure, or I don't have any background at all in that content, right? Or that topic, then I highly recommend signing up for the 4 weeks, okay? The 4 weeks are going to give you the foundational pieces that you need. And then if you wanted to sign up for a 10-week later on, you can absolutely do that. So right now you're only seeing 3 GLEs, and that's because we release them quarterly. And so we'll be releasing new ones in about actually really probably 2 or 3 weeks. So you'll get some updates there. So keep an eye out. But if you maybe want to start with data analytics fundamentals as the 4 weeks, sign up. And then you could also sign up for a 10-week one later on in the year. Okay. The important thing here is that you always sign up using these links. We'll put them into the chat. We will also do a follow-up email from today where you can click on them because again, this gets you registered as a COABE member, which is really important. And then pay attention to the enrollment dates and the actual start schedule dates because there's not you got to enroll in that window and then actually start when the GLE starts. Okay. All right, so different ways to engage, figure out what works for you. This is really about supporting you and your needs and your next steps. All right, I'm gonna just peek at the chat and see if there's any immediate questions for me or maybe Deloria or Joanne. Are there any that I need to answer before I pass it back to the COABE team? Don, great question. So yes, as we add new courses, these will still be going on. You'll see like the AI fundamentals goes into July. So they won't stop necessarily, but there is a hard start and end date. So just pay attention to that. All right. Beautiful. I'll keep an eye on the chat. If there's anything I didn't answer, I'll try to answer it in the chat. But I'm going to hand it back to the COABE team and I believe to Erin to take it away.
Oh, thank you so much. There was so much phenomenal information. So I'd like to speak a bit about the adult learner support that we at COABE provide. So our commitment to adult learners is at the heart of everything that we do. And one of the most important ways we support learners is by offering free COABE membership, which opens the doors to a national community, exclusive resources, opportunity for leadership and recognition. Through this membership, learners can access scholarships, submit to present at national conferences, apply for mini grants, share their stories on national platforms, and take advantage of incredible opportunities like IBM SkillsBuild. So in this partnership, we've taken that support a step further by helping learners build digital skills for the future through IBM SkillsBuild. And here at COABE, we offer wraparound support throughout their IBM SkillsBuild journey. So as you've seen in the chat today, there's a team to support your learners through any questions. So as program lead or instructor, you don't need to be tech support and the knower of all things. We are here to support your learners throughout their IBM SkillsBuild learning journeys. Plus, COABE celebrates learner accomplishments, so we uplift their success stories, connect them to further leadership and career building opportunities, and ensure that they know that this isn't just about earning a badge, it's about unlocking their full potential. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Erin. Really appreciate that update. And so I guess now we're opening it up to questions. We're going to look at the Q&A here real quick to see what questions we have that have not been answered already. Let's look real quick. I see one question in the Q&A. Okay, so the question regarding whether or not as an educator, so this is a good question for IBM SkillsBuild. So when a teacher or administrator wants to sign up their class for a specific badge, for example, to get started on that and integrating it into their curriculum, they want to know if they're able to see the learners and the progress that they're making. So I'll turn this over to IBM to talk about. Deloria, Kiki, okay, go ahead. Kiki.
Deloria, do you want to take that one or do you want me to?
Sure. So we'll be working with you, Sharon, to set up accordingly in terms of how you want to work together, but that is an option to set up various user group spaces. So we'll be working through that process with you shortly, and then you can share it out with the educators.
Great. So yes, you'll make it as possible so you'll be able to see your learner's journey and keep tabs on your classroom. Great. Any other questions? Well, we don't see any more, so we will keep tabs on that, but I just want to encourage you, if you are going to go ahead and sign on as an adult learner or sign your classroom up, we encourage you to sign on and share out. We will include this graphic in the follow-up with the certificate, which will go out today, as well as the recording. And I know that we had over 300 registrants for this, so I know a number of people will also be joining us, watching it after the fact. So I want to give Deloria and Kiki a chance to have some final words here, and I'll stop sharing my screen.
Awesome. Well, thank you all so much. Again, as I said at the start, we are super excited about this partnership. We are looking forward to growing together. We all have, the opportunity to learn something new every day. So that is my challenge to myself, is to always be a continuous learner. And I encourage you all to do the same. I will turn it over to my colleague and friend Kiki to close this out as well.
Thank you, Deloria. Yes, I echo the same thing. I just appreciate you all investing in this initiative. We are super excited to be a partner with COABE and support the work that they are doing. And so I just encourage you to dive in, explore, reach out if you have questions. We are here as a partner and to support the work that you all are doing every single day. So thank you so much.
Thank you, everybody. We appreciate you. Have a great day and a great weekend.
Thank you.
Bye now.
Bye.